You've been carrying this feeling, haven't you? That strange sense of being suspended between what was and what's coming next. Like you're standing at the edge of something you can't quite name, but your entire being knows it's there. There's this quiet electricity in the air around your life lately, the kind that comes right before everything shifts. Not the chaotic kind of change that leaves you scrambling to keep up, but the deep, inevitable kind that feels like the earth itself is turning towards something new. Maybe you've been wondering why nothing feels quite right anymore, why the routines that used to comfort you now feel hollow, why conversations that once fulfilled you leave you restless, why goals that used to excite you suddenly seem distant and unimportant. You've probably questioned whether something is wrong with you, whether you're losing your way, whether this unsettled feeling means you're falling behind while everyone else moves forward with certainty. But what if I told you that this restlessness isn't a sign that you're lost? What if this uncertainty isn't evidence that you've taken a wrong turn? What if everything that's been falling apart, feeling unclear, or slipping away has been happening exactly as it should? Because right now, as you're watching this, you're not in a breakdown, you're in a breakthrough. You're not stuck between seasons. You're about to step into the one you've been unconsciously preparing for. See, there's something most people don't understand about how life actually works. We've been taught to believe that growth is linear, that progress should be obvious, that change should feel good while it's happening. But real transformation, the kind that actually rewrites your story, doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It starts in the quiet spaces, in the pauses, in those moments when you feel like nothing is moving, but everything is shifting beneath the surface. Think about how nature operates. Before spring arrives, winter has to strip everything down to its essence. Trees don't cling to their leaves out of fear that new ones won't grow. They release what no longer serves the season they're entering. The ground doesn't resist the frost that breaks down old growth to make space for new life. There's this profound trust in the process, this understanding that endings aren't failures, they're preparations. Your life has been operating by the same principles, even when you couldn't see it. Every relationship that felt complicated lately, every opportunity that didn't work out the way you expected, every moment when you felt like you were swimming upstream instead of flowing with the current, all of it has been serving a purpose you're only now beginning to glimpse. Because here's what happens right before your new season begins. Life starts clearing the space. Not harshly, not cruelly, but with the kind of precision that only comes from something that knows exactly what you need, even when you don't. It removes what's misaligned so gently that you might not even notice at first. A friendship naturally fades, not because either of you did anything wrong, but because you're growing in different directions. A job becomes unsatisfying, not because you're ungrateful, but because your soul is ready for something that challenges you differently. The confusion you've been feeling isn't confusion at all. It's recalibration. Your internal compass has been adjusting to point toward true north, and that process always feels disorienting while it's happening. You've been shedding old versions of yourself so gradually that you might not have realized how different you've become. The person who started this year isn't the same person watching this video right now, even if the changes feel subtle. This is why certain things that used to work for you don't work anymore. This is why you've been craving something you can't quite articulate. This is why you've felt like you're outgrowing spaces and situations that once fit perfectly. You're not becoming difficult or impossible to please. You're becoming aligned with who you actually are underneath all the adaptations you've made to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold your full expression. Your new season isn't something you have to chase or force or make happen through sheer willpower. It's something you're already walking into simply by being who you're becoming. Every time you've chosen authenticity over approval, every moment you've honored your intuition, even when it didn't make logical sense, every boundary you've set that felt uncomfortable but necessary, you've been laying the foundation for what's coming next. The restlessness you've been feeling is your soul recognizing that you're ready for more. Not more in terms of external achievement or accumulation, but more in terms of depth, alignment, and genuine satisfaction. You're ready for relationships that don't require you to dim your light. You're ready for work that feels like expression rather than obligation. You're ready for a life that reflects who you've become rather than who you used to be. And the most beautiful part is that this new season has been designing itself around you while you've been focused on surviving the transition. Opportunities have been aligning behind the scenes. People who are meant to walk alongside you in this next chapter have been making their way into position. Circumstances have been arranging themselves in ways that will soon become obvious, but right now remain invisible. This is how the universe works when you're truly ready for change. It doesn't wait for you to figure everything out first. It doesn't require you to have a perfect plan or complete confidence. It responds to your readiness, to your willingness to release what no longer fits, to your courage to trust the process even when you can't see the full picture. Think about the last few months of your life as preparation. Every challenge that required you to dig deeper than you thought possible. Every moment of solitude that taught you to enjoy your own company. Every disappointment that redirected your energy towards something more aligned. Every small act of self-advocacy that strengthened your ability to choose yourself. All of it has been training for this moment, for this season, for this version of yourself that's about to emerge. You're standing at the threshold now, and you can probably feel it, even if you can't explain it. There's something different in the air around your life. Conversations are starting to flow differently. Opportunities are presenting themselves in unexpected ways. Ideas are coming to you with unusual clarity. Your intuition is speaking louder than your doubts. These aren't coincidences. These are the first signs that your new season is beginning to reveal itself. The waiting is almost over. The uncertainty that's been your companion for these past months is about to transform into clarity. The pieces that seem scattered are about to form a picture that makes perfect sense. Everything you've been through, everything you've learned, everything you've become is about to serve the story you're stepping into. But here's what you need to understand about this threshold you're standing on. Your new season isn't going to look like anyone else's breakthrough story. It's not going to follow the timeline you imagined or take the shape you've been expecting. Because the most profound transformations aren't about becoming someone completely different. They're about becoming more yourself than you've ever been allowed to be. You've probably been watching other people's lives unfold on social media, wondering when your moment will come, when your clarity will arrive, when your path will suddenly illuminate itself with obvious next steps and guaranteed outcomes. But that's not how real change works. Real change doesn't announce itself with dramatic revelations or sudden epiphanies that solve everything at once. It whispers through ordinary moments that carry extraordinary weight. Like the morning you wake up and realize you're not anxious about the future for the first time in months, or the conversation where you speak your truth without rehearsing it first, or the moment you make a decision from peace instead of panic, from intuition instead of fear. These quiet shifts are your new season, already beginning. You've been looking for lightning when transformation has been arriving like dawn, gradual and inevitable, and impossible to miss once you recognize what you're seeing. The old version of yourself would have needed permission to make the choices that are about to become natural for you, would have needed external validation to trust the direction your heart is pointing, would have needed guarantees before taking the first step toward what feels right. But something fundamental has changed in you during this season of uncertainty. You've developed an internal authority that doesn't need anyone else's approval to know what's true for you. This is why certain relationships have been feeling strained lately, not because anyone is wrong or bad, but because you're no longer available for dynamics that require you to abandon yourself to keep the peace. You're no longer willing to dim your light to make others comfortable with their shadows. You're no longer interested in explaining yourself to people who were never trying to understand you anyway. And yes, this shift can feel lonely at first. When you stop participating in conversations that drain your energy, when you stop saying yes to invitations that don't align with who you're becoming, when you stop pretending to be interested in things that bore your soul, it can seem like you're losing connection. But what's actually happening is that you're making space for connections that nourish rather than deplete you. Your new season is going to introduce you to people who get you without extensive explanation, who celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it, who match your energy instead of requiring you to manage theirs. These aren't fantasy relationships. These are the natural result of becoming someone who refuses to compromise their authenticity for the comfort of others. The work you've been doing on yourself, even when it felt like nothing was changing, has been rewiring your entire system. Where you used to react with old patterns, you now respond with conscious choice. Where you used to seek external validation, you now trust your internal knowing. Where you used to tolerate what felt wrong because it was familiar, you now honor what feels right, even when it's uncertain. This internal rewiring is why opportunities that would have overwhelmed the old version of yourself are about to feel manageable. Why challenges that would have derailed you before are going to become fuel for your growth. Why situations that once would have sent you spiraling into self-doubt are going to be met with a quiet confidence that surprises everyone, including yourself. Because you've been building something during this transition period that you couldn't see while you were in it. You've been developing the emotional resilience to handle success without losing yourself. The spiritual strength to navigate challenges without abandoning your values. The mental clarity to make decisions from wisdom instead of fear. All of this has been happening beneath the surface, while you've been focused on just getting through each day. Your new season isn't just about external changes, though those are coming too. It's about the internal transformation that makes you capable of receiving what's meant for you. Because the universe doesn't just give you what you want, it gives you what you're ready for. And everything you've experienced has been preparing you for a level of alignment that your younger self could never have imagined. Think about how different you are now from who you were even 6 months ago. The conversations you're willing to have, the boundaries you're able to set, the dreams you're brave enough to admit, the peace you're learning to choose over chaos, the trust you're developing in your own judgment. All of this is evidence that your new season isn't coming, it's here. You're going to look back on this period of uncertainty as the time when everything that was meant for you started moving into position. When the delays that frustrated you revealed themselves as divine timing. When the closed doors that disappointed you proved to be protection from paths that would have led you away from your purpose. When the loneliness that scared you became the space where you finally met yourself without pretense or performance. The confusion is lifting, the fog is clearing, the path that seemed invisible is beginning to reveal itself, not because someone is showing it to you, but because you're finally seeing with eyes that aren't clouded by old fears and outdated beliefs about what's possible for your life. What's coming next isn't just better than what you've left behind. It's perfectly calibrated to who you've become. And who you've become is someone worthy of everything you've been quietly hoping for, even when you were too afraid to say it out loud. Your new season doesn't arrive with an instruction manual or a detailed roadmap of what comes next. It arrives with something far more valuable, a deep knowing that you're exactly where you need to be, even when you can't see the full picture yet. There's a quiet confidence building in your chest, isn't there? A sense that whatever unfolds from here, you're equipped to handle it, not because you have all the answers, but because you've learned to trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. The person you were before this transition would have needed to control every variable, plan every outcome, secure every guarantee before moving forward. But the person you're becoming understands that life's most beautiful chapters are written in real time, with courage as the only compass and faith as the only map. You've discovered something profound during these months of uncertainty. You don't need to know how the story ends to trust that it's unfolding exactly as it should. This is why the fear that used to paralyze you has transformed into curiosity, why the anxiety about the future has shifted into anticipation, why the need to have everything figured out has been replaced by a willingness to let things unfold naturally. You've developed a different relationship with the unknown, and that shift changes everything. So here's what I want you to remember as you step forward into what's already beginning. Your new season isn't waiting for your permission to start. It's not asking for your readiness or demanding your complete understanding. It's simply unfolding the way dawn breaks, whether you're awake to witness it or not. The waiting is over. The preparation is complete. Everything you've been through has led to this moment where you finally stop questioning whether you deserve what's coming and start receiving it with open hands. Your new season begins now.